The pursuit had lasted 3 planetary rotations. Commander Velshara of the Crithian Hunting Corps had tracked thousands of prey species across 100 worlds. She had chased the lightning-fast Zorvax through crystal canyons, hunted the phase-shifting Mnemosynes through dimensional rifts, and cornered the armored Drathkul in their subterranean fortresses. Every species ran. Every species hid. Every species eventually broke. But not this human. The planet was a desolate wasteland, an abandoned mining colony with rust-red sand stretching endlessly beneath 2 dying suns. Perfect hunting grounds. When her pack had ambushed the human salvage crew, the others had scattered like frightened herd animals. She'd selected this one, a male designation Marcus Reed according to his ship's manifest, because he'd been carrying the most valuable data cores. The chase should have ended in hours. Humans weren't particularly fast. They lacked natural armor, camouflage, or enhanced sensory organs. By every biological metric, they were unremarkable. Yet here she stood 3 days later, her pack reduced from 12 to just herself. Marcus Reed sat on a boulder 30 meters ahead, calmly drinking from a water canister. He wasn't hiding, wasn't running, just sitting. His thermal suit was torn, his face sun-scorched and dirt-streaked, but his eyes were sharp, alert, unbothered. Velshara's mandibles clicked in frustration. Her pack's bodies lay scattered across the desert behind her, victims of improvised traps, calculated ambushes, and one particularly vicious encounter involving mining explosives. The human had turned the hunt inside out. She approached cautiously, weapon raised, her forelegs carrying her forward with lethal grace. Her kind were apex predators on a dozen worlds. Fear was what others felt. "Why don't you run, human?" she called out in Galactic Standard, her translator converting her clicking speech to words. Every species runs. It is instinct. It is survival. Marcus took another sip of water, then slowly stood. He was smaller than her by half, yet he moved with unsettling confidence. When he spoke, his voice was steady, almost conversational. "You know what separates humans from nearly every other species in the galaxy?" He didn't wait for an answer. "We're persistence hunters." Velshara's sensors flared, analyzing his stress levels. They were remarkably low for prey facing certain death. Persistence hunters? She kept her weapon trained on him, but curiosity overrode her trigger instinct. Back on Earth, before we had technology, before we had weapons beyond sharpened rocks, humans hunted animals that were faster, stronger, and better armed than us. Marcus began walking, not toward her, not away but parallel, forcing her to adjust her position. We didn't chase them down in a sprint. We just followed, hour after hour, day after day. "Ridiculous," Velshara hissed. "No prey can—" "Our prey would run," Marcus continued, his voice taking on an eerie quality. "They'd sprint away, exhausting themselves in the heat. They'd hide and we'd find them. They'd rest and we'd appear on the horizon again. Always walking, never stopping. We didn't need to be faster. We just needed to be inevitable." A chill ran through Velshara's exoskeleton, an evolutionary warning signal she hadn't felt since childhood. "The antelope would run until their muscles tore," Marcus said softly. "Until their hearts gave out. Until they couldn't take another step. And then we'd walk up to them, still fresh, still moving, and we'd finish it. Not because we were stronger, but because we never, ever stopped." Velshara's tactical implant suddenly flashed a warning. Her core temperature had risen 0.3 degrees in the last minute. Her breathing had increased. Her pack had been running, sprinting between ambush points, pursuing, attacking. They'd been operating at maximum exertion for 3 days. The human had been walking. "You think you're hunting me," Marcus said, and now there was something terrible in his smile. "But Commander, I've been hurting you. Every trap that killed your pack, I led them there. Every time you thought you had me cornered, I let you think that. I've been walking you in circles, letting you exhaust yourselves, letting the desert and your own biology do the work." He took a step forward. Velshara took a step back and felt shame burn through her at the instinctive retreat. "You're dehydrated," Marcus observed clinically. "Your species needs to consume twice your body weight in liquid every 10 hours. You've been exerting yourself for 72 hours. Your pack drank from the reservoir near Sector 7, didn't they? The one I seeded with mild diuretics from the mining medical supplies." Horror crept through her mind. The water. Her pack had been getting thirstier, more desperate. "You're slowing down," Marcus continued. Your reaction time is off by 0.4 seconds. Your weapon is wavering. You're entering the beginning stages of critical dehydration. He checked a battered chronometer on his wrist. I estimate you have maybe 2 hours before your systems start shutting down. I'll kill you before then, Belshara managed, but her weapon did waver. Maybe, Marcus acknowledged. Or maybe I'll just keep walking. He gestured at the endless desert. I have 3 days of water left. I can ration it for 6 if needed. I can walk for days without sleep. I can regulate my body temperature, slow my metabolism, push through pain that would kill most species. His eyes locked onto hers with predatory intensity. Because that's what we are, Commander. We're the thing that doesn't stop. We're the footsteps you hear behind you in the dark. We're the species that turned pursuit into an art form millions of years before we reached the stars. Belshara's weapon clattered to the ground. Her legs trembled. Everything he said was true. She could feel it in her failing body, in the desperate thirst clawing at her throat, in the way her vision was starting to blur at the edges. So ask me again, Marcus said softly, terribly. Ask me why I don't run. She didn't need to. She finally understood. Humans didn't run because they were never the prey. They were what came after. Marcus Reed picked up her weapon, checked its charge, and tossed it aside. Then he pulled out his water canister and took a long, deliberate drink. You should start walking, Commander. Back to your ship. You might just make it before your body gives out. He paused. Or you could try to fight me here, waste what little energy you have left, and die in the sand. Belshara turned and began walking. Not running. She didn't have the energy for that anymore. Just walking, one trembling leg after another, toward her distant ship. Behind her, she heard the soft crunch of footsteps in sand, steady, unhurried, inevitable, always following. The human was giving her a head start. It was, she realized with absolute certainty, the most terrifying mercy she'd ever received.